Well, hello, my loves. Guess what? You made it to the last week of learning. Woo woo! All that hard work. I'm so proud of you guys. Thanks so much for hanging in there with me. This week, as you've noticed, it's been more of activities and just hands on. So, for your practice that you would normally have a handout for, I want to teach you a game that you can play with a parent, a sibling, a friend. Grab somebody and say, hey, come play with me so I can practice on my lesson or my skill that I learned this week. So I think we kind of did it a little bit when in centers while we were in school. Couldn't really remember. Maybe you remember how to, but if not, I definitely wanted to show and practice with you so you'll know how to play. And for our parents, I'm sure they weren't in class with us, so even if you did, they still need to know how to play, or you can explain it to them as they engage in the activity with you. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to use a deck of cards. I have Uno cards. You might have some spade cards at home, Uno, any cards that you have with numbers on them. Or you might actually have some actual number cards or flashcards if you have younger siblings. So you're going to use anything with cards on them. And if you're using Uno or any kind of deck playing cards, you don't need the wild cards or anything like that. So what you're going to do, two people can play, three people can actually play. It'll be a little more challenging, but I believe you guys can do it. So if you want to challenge yourself, have three people or more play, but it starts off with just two players. And if you have to play along, you can still just pull two cards and pull the next two cards for yourself. But hopefully you'll find somebody, grab somebody that's willing to participate with you. So you start off with your deck of cards. One person will pull two cards and you will place them on the table or a sheet of paper. If you want to make the fraction bar like I did, just get you some paper and draw a dark line in the middle of the paper so you can place your numerator in one spot and your denominator in another spot. Okay, but if not, it doesn't matter. You can just sit them on the table on top of each other. All right, so one person pull two cards and put them in place, and you can put them in whatever order you want. If you want the 5 to be on top and the 1 on the bottom, that's fine too. We all know that that's called the what kind of fraction if we have that? Improper, that's right. So you can still play the game either way, but if you want to keep it simple, you can put your small number on top, your biggest number on the bottom. All right, so first player put their cards in place. Second player pull two cards and put their cards in place. So what we're working on or practicing is comparing fractions. So you should have used scratch paper nearby, or if you advanced and you one of my mental thinkers, that's cool. You can do it in your mind. Okay. So what you're doing, you want to compare using our inequality symbols, greater than, less than, or equal to. So you have to figure out which fits in that place. So I have 1/5 compared to 3/9. So we learned from the instruction video that the quickest way to compare fractions is to cross multiply. So that means I'm going to take my top number and multiply across to my bottom number. So if you're working with someone, you would do this on scratch paper. Okay, so I'm having to bumping into my cards here, but that's all right. So one of your top numbers or your numerator is you're going to multiply across down to your other denominator, top and bottom, top and bottom. So 1 times 9 is 9. We learned in the instruction video that your answer needs to go where? On the side with the top number. Okay. Then I need to cross multiply the next set. And this time I have 5 times 3, which is 15. So now I can compare these numbers. 9 is what to 15? 15 is greater. So remember, your inequality symbol should always open to your biggest number. So that would be 15. All right, let's try another one. Give me 1 second. And so you would do this on your scratch paper, or those that do it mentally in their head will let you know, hey, so 3/9 is greater than 1/5. And once you do that, the player who the greater than sign belongs to, or I'm sorry, not the greater than sign belongs to, but the first one to answer correctly. The first player to answer correctly gets all the cards, okay? And that'll be one set. And when you finish going through your deck of cards, whoever has the most sets, that's who the winner is. So the first person to answer correctly gets all of the cards for one set, and then you set everything up over again, and then do that again. And once you run out of cards, count your sets. Notice I have 4 cards, so every set should have 4 cards in them, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not how you count who wins. One set, that's 1. Another set, that's 2. Okay, let me erase this. So it sounds pretty simple, pretty fun. What do you think? Okay, so I'm going to take these down. All right, so I'm pulling again. Trying to get a good example for you. I didn't take out my skips and wild cards before I started. Okay. This time I have 6/9 is being compared to 8/6. Now, the first thing I noticed, I could go ahead and just cross multiply and work it out and get it done. But just to show you a quick trick, we know that this is an improper fraction. And to fix improper fractions, what do we do or learn how to do in order to correct this? Divide. That's correct, because our fraction bar means to divide. And we know that our top number should never be bigger than the bottom number. So when I divide this out, I'm going to end up with a mixed number, meaning I have a whole number and a fraction. And most of the time in class, every time we corrected an improper fraction, our whole number was always, most of the time, what? 1. That's right. So most improper fractions are always, well, all improper fractions are going to be greater than 1. So if this is a regular proper fraction, meaning my small number is on top, my bottom number is bigger, then that means 6/9 has to be what? Less than 1. 8/6 is improper, so it's going to be greater than 1. 6/9 is not improper, so it has to be less than 1. So which one is greater? 8/9. That is correct, because if I know this is greater than 1, this is less than 1, this has to be my bigger fraction. But let's do cross multiply to work it out. 6 times 6 is 36. Remember to write your answer on the side with the top number. And 9 times 8 is 72. So if you wanted to do that critical thinking part, you can always just cross multiply and check yourself. So 36 is blank to 72. 72 is greater. So 8/6 is greater than 6/9. So that's how you play the game. Remember, you can use playing cards, Uno, Phase 10, spade cards, whatever you may have. Or if you don't have any cards, find you some paper, cut them up in squares, write random numbers on it, put them in a pile, draw out your numbers, okay? You can make it work whether you have playing cards or not. If you do, it just makes it a little easier. You don't have to make your own number cards. And once again, set up your problems. You can use paper and put your paper cards on, or just sit them out on the table and put them on top of each other, okay? And we're practicing cross multiplying top to a bottom and top to a bottom. You remember to put your answers on the side with the top number, and whichever has the greatest value, that would be your greater fraction. If they have the same value, you know, we put an equal sign. And we learn in the video that fractions that may have different numbers but come out with the same values are what kind of fractions? Equivalent, mean they are equal. Okay, I hope you guys have fun. Go ahead and go grab somebody and get started.